Okay, so I think where the most innovative and the most excellent, the companies who have done excellent work in this space will be awarded from exhibitors' perspective. Tomorrow evening we are having the Hall of Fame, which is something very unique, which is something, Ms. Chandra, what do you want to say?
See, tomorrow, I mean, day after tomorrow evening, I think it is tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, we have a Hall of Fame event. ISRE, through this ACREX exhibition, has made sure that to recognize buildings which are energy efficient and which are taking us towards the sustainability concept what we have. So this is very important that buildings has to be sustainable and healthy. So that's where this concept was introduced. So far, 5 editions of Hall of Fame have been completed. 5 buildings, every year only 1 building enters into the Hall of Fame. It should be the energy efficient, sustainable building in every aspect of it. That's where all the entries are received from the industry, from the buildings which are having air conditioning. Operating parameters are analyzed, not just the design parameters. Continuous operating parameters for over a year is analyzed, and then a technical committee analyzes these operating parameters and shortlist for a jury. Eminent juries are there in the panel who take care of selecting the best building out of that, and that building enters into the Hall of Fame. So far 5 editions have been completed. For example, in the first edition, Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus at Mumbai was the first one to enter the Hall of Fame. Infosys in Bangalore entered the Hall of Fame. ISP campus in Mohali has entered the Hall of Fame. We have Reliance building has entered into the Hall of Fame. So you can see that only buildings which are very highly sustainable, highly energy efficient enters into that. This year again, we have asked for the entries. About 24 buildings have given entries into that. Our technical committee shortlisted 10 buildings, and then the second level, another of shortlisting, 6 buildings have been done, and those 6 buildings, data and other things will be showcased during the Hall of Fame tomorrow evening, and the jury is going to select the final building that will be entering into the Hall of Fame. So by creating a scenario like this, we are encouraging the builders, we are encouraging the consultants, we are encouraging the architects to come up with energy efficient buildings, sustainable buildings and healthy buildings, which can make sure that we are contributing to the concept and the commitment what we have, that is net zero emission by 2070, and that's what my sincere belief.
Thank you. I think, and in addition to that, on the floor also we have something very unique. We have started with a.
If you talk of air conditioning, obviously we are bound by Montreal Protocol and Kyoto Protocol, which are already there in place. And when it comes to air conditioning, we have already moved to the energy efficient refrigerants. The R22 refrigerant, which is which was not friendly for the environment, that is now on its way out. The government has already decided 31st December 2024 is the last date to make a new appliance with R22, and that's where the industry. But I will tell you, the industry has already shifted to new refrigerants, so they have already moved to the next level. And when it comes to the refrigeration side, that industry, I think we are already seeing a lot of use of ammonia. Now we also see a new era where we see low charge ammonia systems, which are very safe to use. Similarly, as I told you about CO2, that is also coming up as a new refrigerant. So this will replace very, very harmful HFCs, which are very, very harmful for the environment because they are having very, very high GWP. So that's how the change is happening in the industry now.
So I have a question for Mr. Chandra. So you said that the target is to achieve 30 billion by 2030, if I'm not wrong. So do you have a kind of segment-wise breakup, like for HVAC segment?
See, it's not my target. Actually, the HVAC in our industry is today growing at a CAGR of around 15% CAGR. Close to that, it is growing. So that is where what it is. It is the global level at which the growth is taking place. Why that is taking place, that is what you need to go back to that. Today, the kind of climate change that is happening, the climate, the need for air conditioning that is being looked at, even the comfort conditions which we are used to, that HVAC is not a luxury item, it is now a necessity item. It is coming to that level. When you look at it, the growth of that is happening. Similarly, the urbanization is taking place, and the urbanization, rise in income of the people, whatever way you look at it, there is enough demand which is coming. So that is how we will reach to, we will definitely, the industry will go to that, probably it will exceed that. These are all predictions, so it can probably exceed that. But what we need to see is that when you say segmentation, when you look at it, there are residential sectors, there are commercial sectors into that. Today, the residential sector is represented to the extent of only 4%. There is a huge growth that is anticipated in the residential sector because people are wanting to have comfort conditions into that. But we have to put a careful pause there, saying that you just not air conditioning, you need a healthy air conditioning, you need a sustainable air conditioning. That's where industry will look into that. So there is demand everywhere, it is rising. Which commercial building is not air conditioned today? Everything is air conditioned. That's what we are looking at. Even though the pandemic time has brought in about work from home more, the demand for air conditioners have not come down. It has only gone up. So that explains the picture.
Right. So you said that you were expecting some around 300% growth or so. So is it very, it's for the air conditioning segment only?
Yeah, of course, I said specifically for the air conditioning segment, as Dr. Chandra said, currently penetration is only 5% if you talk of residential air conditioning segment. So opportunities are obviously huge, and not only residential, but as commercial segment and even industrial, you see the new factories which are being set up. Earlier they were not air conditioned. Now all workers are demanding a better working environment, and that's how even the management of organizations looking. So if you look at combined opportunities, that is what is turning out to be 300% expectation of growth. That's air conditioning only.
Right. One last question. So whenever you go for any physical exhibition nowadays, we see there's separate pavilion for startups. So is there something like that in this expo as well?
Yes, we have a separate pavilion. That's called the innovation pavilion here. It's not exactly the startup what we are doing it, because see, startup is a very big word where people are still yet to come into HVAC industry startup. That's something which we are also searching on that to people to take that more and more. I would in fact urge our young people who are coming out of the colleges and getting into these industries to think about startup very connected to HVAC and our industry. But then the same industry is looking at innovations. So that's where you can see the innovation pavilion which will be there. And that innovation pavilion is the marking of the time that look at this, and because of this there is going to be more and more reasons why people will look at these innovations and they will add it onto their systems, and that will probably give more weightage to the startups to come out.
I'll give him a resource. I'll give you a resource if you want more segment-wise information of the India Cooling Action Plan. It's available in public domain. It's the first of its kind 20-year study done by the Ministry of Environment and Forest Change, the Ozone Cell, with Bureau of Energy Efficiency and Alliance for Energy Efficient Economy. It will give you a breakup of how the industry is looking at growing. And of course, all of us sitting here and the ones in this exhibition are focused on when it's going to grow that much, how can we make sure that it's done sustainably? That's what our effort is between ISRE and all the companies.
Thank you. Any more questions?
The level of awareness among the industry, and these 450 exhibitors are here. What is your criteria for them to enter in the mix? You want to share